Hello VC, what's going on? It's me, Will, and yes, I'm finally back with another new video. And this actually may end up being a little bit of a long video because I do have a lot of stuff to show you. I have been picking up a lot of records and some CDs as well, and there's been a lot of really great releases that just came out recently. And as you may know, I haven't been making many videos lately, so I do have to catch up and show you a lot of stuff for today. At least before the end of the year, because I do plan to do a top 10 albums of 2018 before the end of the year. So yeah, I have plenty of stuff to show you before that video. But before getting started, I would like to give a quick shout out and a big thanks to DJ Trish, a fellow VC member. Every year she sends me her Christmas mix CD, and this is her latest one. It's called Trish's Christmas Picks 2018. And I haven't listened to this one yet. I just literally walked into the house and I saw this in the mail. I don't even know what songs are included here, but I'm sure it's gonna be great. Trish always makes the best mix CDs. I'll put a link here in the description to her channel, because if you aren't subscribed to her channel, you should, because she knows a lot about music and she does really great mix CDs. This one has some tunes from, let's see, James Brown, Emmylou Harris, James Taylor, and a lot of music that I'm not very familiar with. So I really look forward to listening to this one, Trish. I really appreciate it for sending this out. And she also sent me a nice, really nice Christmas card that she signed as well. So thank you very much, Trish, for sending this out. This is really, really nice, especially now for the holidays. Alright, let's go and move on to the music, and let's start off with the newest release by the New York band Lemuria. And this album, or newest release I guess, is called Recreational Hate, A Companion, and it was just released a few months ago in 2018 on Turbo Worldwide, which is the actual record label from the band Lemuria. Indie rock / pop punk music. If you watch my videos, you will be very familiar with Lemuria. They released a great album last year called Recreational Hate, which actually ended up being my number one album of 2017. Fantastic album. I really recommend this band in case you haven't listened to them. They're really great. They came up with this new special release which has a lot of B-sides, rare songs, demo versions of the last few years, and came in with a really nice package. Here's the cover, the back with the lyrics and the track list. I actually ended up pre-ordering this one. Actually, the only way to get this release was through a pre-order. These guys do something very interesting where they actually just send something through social media saying we're going to release something. If you want, you can go ahead and pre-order it. That will be the only way to get it. And at that point, you don't know what you're going to get. It can be a full-length album. It can be a compilation, like in this case. It can be a single. It can be a t-shirt. It can be anything until they come up with, or until you receive something in the mail, I guess. And in this case, they came up with this really cool release. They came in with an extra poster of their latest tour. Came in with also an extra poster, which I actually already have from. It came in with the last album last year. I actually have it signed by the band when they came into town. And the record itself came in on. I think this one came in just on standard black vinyl. Yep, black vinyl with custom labels. Okay, so the music in this record, as I said, this is a companion to the latest album, which is not a bad thing. It's not. I think it's mostly directed to the big Lemuria fans, because it has a lot of stuff that you haven't heard before, especially the demo versions of older songs. And I also came in with a couple of postcards from the band, cool stuff, and signed by one of the band members. So yeah, like I said, it's mostly directed to big fans of the band, but I guess if you're trying to get into Lemuria, I would highly suggest that you get into some of their studio albums that came in before. Especially the last album is just fantastic. But still, glad to add it to my collection. I really like the first 3 songs, which are brand new songs, or songs that didn't make it to the last album. If you're a fan of Lemuria, make sure that you pick up a copy of this one. I think you can still get them through the website. I think they have a few up for sale.
I
Alright, so up next, some more new music, this time from a band called SWEARIN, indie rockers from Philadelphia, I believe. And this is their newest album, Fall Into the Sun, and it just came out a few months ago in 2018 on Merge Records. Like I said, indie rock slash pop punk music, very catchy music. And I kind of got started a little bit late with this band because I didn't know much about them before, but they have been around for a long time. They kind of took a break a few years ago and they just returned this year. This is kind of like their comeback album, Fall Into the Sun, that just came out this year. And this one came in with, since I pre-ordered it, it came in with this cool 3D glasses, which you can use to actually, or it's actually Merge Records 3D glasses, which you can use to watch some of their music videos on YouTube. I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard about it. I've heard it has kind of like a cool effect. Came in with a nice inner sleeve with a picture of the band. And one of the singers from the band, Alison Crutchfield, may look familiar to you. She actually plays in... she is the twin sister of Katie Crutchfield, also known as Waxahachie. She also plays in Waxahachie. She also has her own solo band known as Alison Crutchfield. She released a really good album last year as well on Merge Records. You may want to check her out too. And the record itself came in on really cool looking, they call it like Coke bottle, transparent vinyl with the custom labels. Really cool looking record right there. And yeah, like I said before, I didn't know much about this band before. I did listen to some of their tracks before the album came out a few months ago, and I just knew that I was gonna like the record because it's just right up my alley. Catchy pop punk music slash indie rock, very influenced in bands like Lemuria, like the band that I showed you before. And I did end up liking this album a lot. It's really good stuff. I really like the contrast that they do in some of their songs, where some of the songs are sang by Alison, while some of the songs are sang by the male singer in the band. Alright, so that was those were some clips of Cloud Nothings playing live in Atlanta just a few months ago. They came into town and they rocked out. They put out a great concert here in Atlanta. And while I was there at the concert, of course, I had to pick up their newest album. And I'm glad they had this version of the album. This is their newest record called Last Building Burning, and it came out just a few months ago in 2018 on CARPARK Records. Really cool record. I'm glad that they had this version of the album. Here's the hype sticker. This is the color vinyl version of the album, which actually sold out in their website when it came out. I was hoping that I could find this one on the show, and I did. Really cool artwork for this one with the metallic cover. You can see there my camera and my computer. Very reflective, as you can see, but it creates a really cool effect right there. It didn't come in with an insert, but it did come in on, well, at least this version came in on color vinyl. I think this is a transparent vinyl. Really cool looking stuff with really nice labels right there, custom labels. And I really like this record. This is the record that I was really looking forward to buy because I have been digging a lot of the new singles that they came out before the album came out. They remind me just so much of Jawbreaker, where they just put so much emotion in their music. You can almost feel it the way that he sings the songs, and it's just a very powerful record and powerful music. Let's just go ahead and check out some clips. Alright, let's move on and let's show you a new CD that I picked up. And to everybody that grew up listening to pop punk in the 90s, they would like, I think they would like this band. This is the newest release by MXPX, and this is a self-titled album. Just came out a few months ago. This was also a self-release. I guess MXPX Enterprises release. And yeah, I bought this one on CD, and they got kind of popular when this when this album was released, because they did the whole crowdfunding thing where they would just I think they did a Kickstarter where they were asking for funders to fund the new album. They just wanted to do it all by themselves on their own. They didn't want to sign to a label and do it that way, the classical way. They just wanted to do the whole thing on their own, and they pulled it off. They raised a ton of money. They released a lot of really cool different types of records for this release. I ended up buying the CD only because my whole collection of MXPX music is on CD. I grew up in the 90s. I have almost all the records on CD. To get into the vinyl version, it would just mean that I have to buy all the old vinyl, which can be very expensive for me. So I just went in and bought the CD, and here's the CD with a classic MXPX guy and the artwork. And digipack, and you get the lyrics in very small font right there. So yeah, the music is good for somebody that is really into 90s pop punk music. If you like MXPX, if you like NoFX, Bad Religion, Green Day, bands like that, you will definitely like the new MXPX album. That being said, for a guy like me, I thought that this album was excellent. It may be the best album from MXPX. Everything that you would expect from them. Super catchy stuff. Melodic pop, melodic punk at its finest, in my opinion. Some of the songs are faster paced than the other ones, but the whole album overall is really, really good. Alright, up next is some more new music, this time coming in from a band called Flasher. And this is their newest album called Constant Image, and it came out just a few months ago in 2018 on Domino Recordings. And I just saw these guys when they opened for the Breeders. The Breeders came into town. I went to see them. I got a chance to catch this band too. And while they were playing, I thought to myself, I have to get their record because they were really, really good. And they came in on with a nice inner sleeve with the lyrics. And the record itself is really cool looking. It has color vinyl. I guess starburst, yellow and orange vinyl. There's a hype sticker. These guys are from Washington, D.C. and indie rockers from Washington, with a very heavy 80s rock, or 80s, I guess, post-punk influence. I can definitely hear a very big influence in bands like Joy Division, and especially New Order, I would say. I really enjoy the heavy bass lines that they have, and the singers do a great job as well in this record.
Pass it off from the left side. Think it through into you, bending in unison. Can't sleep, sweat the sheets as a bad stare deep. Labor Day weekend, not in a sinking. Go on now, you speak the pressure. Take all of mine, find another way.
right, so up next, this is going to be, I guess, the locals part of the video, where I'm going to show you some records from some local bands from here in Atlanta, Georgia. And the clips that I showed you before is actually from Gringo Star playing live just a few months ago. It was the week that they released their newest album, which I just have right here. It's called Back to the City, and it came out just a few months ago in 2018 on NEVADO Music. Yeah, the guys from Atlanta, from Gringo Star, they came up with a great new album. If you watch my videos, you may be familiar with this band because I do talk about them a lot. Their last album that came out, I think, in 2016, was really good. And they released a follow-up to that album, and the new album is good. It came in just on standard black vinyl with custom labels. So yeah, the album is good. I don't think it's as good as the album from 2016, their previous studio album. But it still has the things that everybody likes about Gringo Star, which has a lot of the really good melodies, catchy tunes, classic catchy indie rock from Gringo Star, especially in songs like Back to the City and Watchdog. The best two songs in the album. But they do have a couple of slower songs that tend to drag a little bit, in my opinion. But they're not bad, they're still good. They just sound very different to what they used to release before. But it's still a solid album by Gringo Star. And the concert that they did a few months ago at the EARL was fantastic. If you get a chance to see Gringo Star, do not miss them. Let's check out some clips. So yeah, like I said before, I did catch Gringo Star playing live in the week that they released a new album. And while I was there, I did pick up an older album by them. This one's called Count Your Lucky Stars. I did not have this one in my collection, I had to add it. This one came out in 2011 on Gigantic Records. And there's the back. I think this one did come in on color vinyl. This might be a repress of the record because it came in on green vinyl, marble green. I think the original presses came in a different color. But this is the record that has one of their most famous songs, which is a song called Shadow. If you check out one song by Gringo Star, check out that song Shadow. It's really good. I'm sure everybody here in the VC will like that song. But the full album overall is excellent. Maybe one of my favorite albums by Gringo Star too. So glad to add it to my collection too. Alright, another local band. This is a very new band. This is MATTIEL. And this one is their first album that came out in 2017, last year. I kind of missed when this album came out last year. I had to buy it this year. It came out on Burger Records. And if the name MATTIEL may sound familiar to you because she just went out on tour with Jack White in his latest tour for the newest album. So they gained a lot of fans after that tour, of course, touring in with Jack White from the White Stripes. And there's the back, and the inner sleeve, and that's MATTIEL right there, MATTIEL Brown, the singer of the band. There's the back with some photos. And the record itself, I got one of the early represses of that record on Burger Records, which came in also on color vinyl, kind of like a cream color, cream / yellowish vinyl, the Burger Records labels. And I really like this record. This may be the band from Atlanta which shows the most promise of being very big. Like I said before, touring with Jack White, getting a lot of new fans from that tour, and now I think they just recently went out to Europe and they toured all over Europe as well. So they are starting to get pretty big. And I did get to see this band just earlier this year. They played in a very small venue, and then they played in somewhere a little bit bigger. I'm sure next time they're gonna play somewhere in a much larger venue because they're starting to get pretty popular.
Baby brother, won't you spare a little time? I know you're still there working from
Alright guys, so I have just a few more albums to show you for this video, and this one is a classic, the classic album from the Beatles. I'm sure everybody in the BC knows this one. This one's Revolver, and this one came out originally back in 1966 on Apple Records. This is a repress, of course, from 2012 from the digital remasters from 2009 on 180-gram vinyl. And if you know me, you may know that I'm not a huge Beatles guy. I do like their music, I like the records, I like everything about their music, but I don't collect, well, I don't have many of the records really. But I'm trying to get into them and trying to buy more of their records, especially if I find them for a good price. I was at Target just the other week and I saw that this one was on clearance. I actually did not even know that they sold records at Target, but I paid $10 for this one on clearance. And I said for $10 I almost have to buy it, a good Beatles record. And I may not know much about the Beatles, but I have listened to this record in its entirety before, because I used to have it on CD. And it's actually one of my favorite records by the Beatles. I really like this one. Especially the opening song, Taxman. I just love that tune. Super catchy stuff from the Beatles. And this one came in on just on standard black vinyl with a 180-gram weight. And I guess this is Parlophone Records, not the Apple labels. Alright, up next, another new record. The newest album by Cursive. It's really good. The band from Omaha, Nebraska. And this one just came out a few months ago, in 2018 on, actually I don't know what the record label is, this one, 15 Passenger Records. And this one's called Vitriola. And there's the record and the back. I really dig the album artwork for this one. I actually caught this band live a few weeks ago when they played here in Atlanta, and I picked this one up on at the venue when they were playing. Nice inner insert, the lyrics. As with the previous releases by Cursive, very epic sounding. It seems like all their albums have a theme in particular, or they're telling a story. They do the same thing with this one. I'm not quite sure what the story is in this one. I'm not good at reading through the lyrics of the music. But it is very epic sounding, very powerful, very emotional too. The version that I got is on kind of like a peach color in the custom labels. But this album is excellent. Like I said before, very emotional music, very powerful, very epic, very anthemic. But yeah, I really loved it. It may be one of my top 10 albums of 2018.
Intellect made the internet gave the world a mouthpiece that swallowed our enlightened intellect. The voice of man has been exposed as vitriol. Don't gotta read between the HTML.
Alright guys, so I just have one more record to show you for this video, and this is the latest album from ESME PATTERSON, and this one's called We Were Wild. And I think this one came out last year in 2017 on Grand Jury Records. I think it was 2017 or 16 maybe. But I caught her live also just a few weeks ago. She played here in Atlanta. Here's the poster from the show. Actually shamelessly stole this concert poster from the venue after the show. And I picked up this record before the concert, and I also picked up one of her older records at the concert. This is her newest album, We Were Wild. Came in on color vinyl too. I mean, a really cool dark red marble vinyl. Really cool looking record from ESME. The music is fantastic. If you're into my type of music, you will definitely like the music from ESME PATTERSON, especially from this record. And shout out to Dave from the Dark Stuff who recommended me ESME. I did not know anything about her before until he mentioned her in his videos. So I started listening to her music and I really liked it, especially the ones from this album. Really catchy, and her indie rock, and her voice is also really good. Yeah, and she was also really great live. Like I said before the show, I bought an older album from her. This one's called All Princess I, and this one came out in, I was just checking this out, it came out in 2012, so a much older album from ESME PATTERSON. Actually, have not got a chance to listen to this record. I've been really busy lately. I haven't got a chance to even open it. I have it sealed, but I will, and I'm sure I will like it because I really like her voice and her music.
No one wants to feel something don't feel right. No one wants to feel something don't feel right. No.
Alright guys, and everybody in the VC, I hope you liked this video. Sorry for the length of the video. I just had so much stuff to show you today. I really needed to catch up with the records and the CDs. But I will be back soon. Hopefully I will try to make another video before my year-end video, so stay tuned for that. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.